Have you ever wondered why some people constantly sabotage themselves, or why others seem to have an effortless influence over those around them? In today's video, we're diving into the laws of human nature. This book offers practical strategies for understanding both ourselves and others. Whether you're looking to overcome personal barriers or gain deeper insight into social dynamics, there's a lot to learn, so let's get started. Law 1. The Law of Irrationality. The emotional mind is like a storm-tossed ship that is constantly changing its course, while the rational mind is the steady hand on the wheel. Ever wondered why it's so hard to think clearly when you're angry, stressed, or scared? It all comes down to how your brain is wired. Our brains are like an old machine with some new parts stuck on top. Here's how it works. At the core, you've got the reptilian brain. It is an ancient part of your mind that only cares about one thing: survival. It controls your basic automatic reactions like fear. Next up is the limbic system, the emotional brain. This is where your feelings come from: anger, pleasure, anxiety. It reacts fast, much faster than your logical brain, which is why emotions often take control before you even realize what's happening. To become truly rational, the first step is to recognize when your emotions are in control. Catch yourself in those moments where you react instead of thinking. Ask yourself, what's really driving your choices? Why do you scroll through social media for hours, even though you know it's wasting your time and keeping you from being productive? Once you've identified the emotion, when you feel a surge of emotion, whether it's frustration, fear, or temptation, step back. Take a moment to breathe. This pause allows your rational mind to catch up and guide you toward a more thoughtful decision. By becoming aware of your emotions, understanding their triggers, and creating space before you act, you can bring balance between your emotional and rational selves and make decisions that move you forward. Law 2. The Law of Narcissism. When you are constantly looking for validation from others, you're on a path that will never end and that will eventually lead to self-destructive behaviors. On one end, we have the deep narcissist. They are completely absorbed in themselves, seeking attention and validation as a way to mask insecurity. These individuals often struggle with rage, insecurity, and a need for constant praise. On the other end, we find the healthy narcissist. These people still enjoy attention, but they can focus on others. The goal isn't to rid yourself of all self-focus, that's impossible, but to shift toward healthy narcissism, where you balance self-care with empathy for others. So, how to shift from narcissism to empathy? First, you need to recognize narcissism in yourself. To do so, ask yourself, do I tend to dominate conversations or get frustrated when things aren't about me? Do I often feel the need to prove myself or react strongly to criticism? These are signs that your self-love may be tipping into toxic territory. Second, you need to turn attention outward. Start by practicing real empathy. Instead of assuming you understand people, listen deeply. Each person is an undiscovered country with their own unique world. Pay attention to their body language, tone of voice, and emotional state. Law 3. The Law of Role-Playing. Everyone wears a mask, and the more they want to hide, the more they engage in role-playing. This is where deception hides. Why do we all wear masks? We all wear masks to present ourselves in the best light, from polished Instagram profiles to carefully crafted resumes. These masks obscure our true selves and the true nature of those around us. But beneath these facades, we often reveal our genuine feelings through subtle, unconscious cues. Masks help people adapt to various social contexts and roles. By adjusting their behavior and presentation, individuals can fit into different situations, whether in personal relationships, professional settings, or public appearances. Masks can act as a form of psychological protection. For instance, someone might project an image of success to mask underlying self-doubt. Masks can be used strategically to influence others and achieve personal or professional goals. Wearing masks helps individuals conform to social norms and expectations. Now, managing your own presentation involves understanding how you are perceived and actively shaping that perception in a way that aligns with your goals. Here's how you can effectively manage your own presentation. 1. Know your audience. Research and understand the values, interests, and needs of your audience. Tailor your presentation to resonate with them. Adjust your communication style. based on the audience. For a formal setting, maintain professionalism. For a casual audience, be more relaxed and personable. 2. Craft your image. Determine how you want to be perceived. This might be as a leader, expert, or collaborator. Align your behavior, dress, and language with this image. Ensure your appearance and actions consistently reflect the image you wish to project. This includes your attire, mannerisms, and even online presence. Third, master nonverbal communication. Use open and confident body language. Maintain good posture, make eye contact, and use gestures to emphasize key points. Ensure your facial expressions align with your message. A genuine smile or appropriate expression can enhance your credibility and engagement. Adjust your voice tone and speaking pace to suit the context and message. A varied tone can keep the audience engaged, while a measured pace can convey authority. 4. Prepare and practice. Familiarity with your content and delivery will reduce anxiety and improve performance. Present to a trusted friend or colleague and ask for constructive feedback. 5. Be authentic. Incorporate relevant personal anecdotes or experiences to connect with your audience on a deeper level. Law 4. The law of compulsive behavior. The most significant indicator of people's character comes through their actions over time. Your character is shaped early in life, molded by your childhood experiences and daily habits. While you might believe you can reinvent yourself, the truth is, your core character remains largely fixed. However, this doesn't mean you're powerless. Understanding your character can help you work with it rather than against it. So, instead of trying to fight against your nature, use it to your advantage. If you have a natural tendency to seek approval, for example, you might struggle in roles requiring assertiveness, like managing a team or making hard decisions. However, this same trait might make you excel in customer service or roles where diplomacy and people-pleasing are valued. People reveal their character not through grand statements, but through repeated actions. Over time, patterns emerge, and those patterns expose their true nature. For instance, someone who constantly avoids responsibility shows a weak character, whereas those who remain persistent in the face of setbacks demonstrate strength. Law 5. The law of covetousness. The desire for what others have is a source of tremendous suffering and inner turmoil. Covetousness blinds us to what we have and what we can achieve. However, it's not about playing manipulative games, but rather understanding that human psychology craves the unknown. Greene offers practical strategies for doing just that, amplifying desire without forcing it. Create mystery and intrigue. Don't reveal everything about yourself at once. Keep certain thoughts, opinions, or feelings hidden. We are drawn to things that are scarce or difficult to obtain, and this applies to people just as much as it does to objects or opportunities. Being too available, too familiar, or too transparent diminishes your allure. For example, instead of constantly texting a potential romantic partner, take a step back occasionally. Let them wonder what you're up to, and that uncertainty will work in your favor. Create rivalries of desire. Make it seem like others really want what you have. When people see that others are interested, they'll feel a stronger urge to want it too. This boosts your value without you needing to promote yourself directly. Use induction. People are drawn to what feels exclusive or edgy. For example, if you're launching a new product, hint at a unique feature that's not yet available to the public, creating buzz and intrigue. Law 6, the law of short-sightedness. Focusing on immediate gratification blinds us to the consequences of our actions, leading to inevitable regret and failure. Makes us vulnerable to impulsive choices and short-term thinking. In life, like in chess, those who can step back and see the bigger picture rather than getting caught in short-term reactions are the ones who achieve lasting success. To avoid being checkmated by your own impulses, you need to play the long game, considering how today's decisions shape your future. The more you elevate your thinking, the better you can plan and execute. How to elevate your perspective. When you feel overwhelmed by a decision or situation, take a step back and emotionally distance yourself from it. Every time you're tempted to take the easy route, ask yourself if this action aligns with your long-term vision. Avoid spending too much time with people who are overly reactive or impulsive. Their narrow perspective will rub off on you. Instead, seek out mentors. Law 7, the law of defensiveness. Our defensiveness prevents us from learning and growing. It is essential to remain open to criticism and alternative perspectives. Win their trust. To overcome defensiveness and gain influence, consider these 5 strategies. Transform into a deep listener. People are naturally self-absorbed, often more interested in their own thoughts than what others have to say. When you genuinely listen, you stand out. Treat each conversation as an opportunity to discover something new about the person in front of you. Infect people with the right mood. People are highly susceptible to the emotions of those around them. If you project calmness, warmth, and confidence, others will reflect that mood back to you. If you radiate stress or aggression, they will mirror those feelings as well. Confirm their self-opinion. People love to have their self-image affirmed. Instead of contradicting or challenging them, appeal to their sense of autonomy, intelligence, and goodness. Allay their insecurities. Insecurities are powerful motivators, and once you've identified them, you can subtly address them without making the person feel exposed. Compliments or gentle affirmations related to their insecurities can disarm them and make them more receptive. Example, if someone is reluctant to try a new method at work, say, "Of course, you're free to stick with the old system if that's what you're comfortable with. I just thought you might want to try something different, but no pressure." Often, this indirect approach can pique their curiosity and make them more open to change. While overcoming defensiveness is crucial for building trust and influence, it's equally important to cultivate a mindset that remains open to change, becoming a flexible mind. Just as the body becomes rigid with age, so too can the mind. When we are young, our minds are flexible, open to learning and experimentation. However, as we grow older, we become more set in our ways, clinging to our opinions and beliefs. Greene encourages us to maintain a playful, flexible mindset, open to adaptation and growth. Treat your beliefs and ideas like building blocks. Rearrange them, test them, and discard them when necessary. This flexibility will not only help you grow, but also make you less susceptible to manipulation by others. Law 8. The law of self-sabotage. We often sabotage our own success through our fears and internal conflicts. Recognizing and addressing these self-destructive patterns is key to achieving our goals. The biggest obstacles we face aren't external, but rather internal. Your attitude has a powerful impact on your life as it shapes your reality. And here are the 5 negative attitudes he identifies. Hostile attitude. People with a hostile attitude perceive the world as threatening, which can provoke defensiveness and conflict. For example, if you believe others are out to get you, you might respond with hostility, which can in turn make others wary or defensive toward you. Anxious attitude. This attitude stems from a fear of losing control. Anxious people are micromanagers and perfectionists, trying to maintain control over every little detail to stave off uncertainty. Avoidant attitude. People with an avoidant attitude often doubt their own competence. Afraid of failure, they avoid responsibility and challenges, which ultimately reinforces their insecurities. They might shy away from new opportunities, believing they're not up to the task. This creates a cycle where they avoid growth, leading to stagnation. Depressive attitude. A depressive attitude is rooted in feelings of unworthiness. People with this mindset believe they don't deserve success or happiness, and they often sabotage their own progress. They might push away people who try to help them or criticize themselves to the point of inaction. Resentful attitude. Those with a resentful attitude carry grudges and see the success of others as a sign of injustice. Instead of working on improving their own situation, they focus on the perceived wrongs done to them. While negative attitudes can trap us in cycles of self-sabotage, there is a way out. By shifting toward a positive and expansive attitude, we can open ourselves up to new opportunities, personal growth, and a more fulfilling life. Sometimes a significant life event can force you to change your attitude in an instant. However, the antidote to self-sabotage is adopting a positive mindset. Law 9. The law of repression. Repressed emotions and thoughts create internal turmoil and manifest in destructive behaviors. Integrating these aspects of ourselves is crucial for mental health. We all possess a dark side, the hidden, often unsettling aspects of our personality that we conceal from the world to fit in or maintain a positive self-image. Understanding and confronting our dark side is crucial to not allowing them to sabotage our behavior unconsciously. Here, 6 signs of the shadow. In an effort to repress those darker impulses and desires, we often adopt certain personas or exaggerated behaviors that mask our true nature. Recognizing these traits in yourself and others can help uncover what's lurking beneath the surface. Robert Greene identifies 7 traits that people commonly adopt to navigate social interactions and protect their true selves. The tough guy displays aggression and bravado to mask deep-seated vulnerability or fear. Their hostile exterior serves to protect them from feeling exposed or weak. The saint projects an image of purity, altruism, or moral superiority, yet may become corrupt or abuse power once it's attained. The fanatic demonstrates extreme dedication to a cause or task, seeking approval through their obsessive commitment. However, they often overpromise and underdeliver as their drive masks insecurities about their true abilities or worth. The passive-aggressive charmer appears overly friendly and accommodating, but behind the scenes they engage in gossip or manipulation. This charm is a cover for their inability to confront people directly, revealing a fear of conflict or rejection. The rigid rationalist uses intellect as a weapon, dismissing emotional or intuitive responses as inferior. By emphasizing reason, they avoid facing their own irrationality or emotional vulnerabilities. Their rigid mindset acts as a defense against any perceived loss of control. Snobs are terrified of mediocrity and project an air of superiority to stand out. This attitude hides deep insecurities and a fear of not measuring up, making them overly judgmental of others. The extreme entrepreneur is fixated on independence and attention to detail. They may come across as perfectionists. However, their inability to delegate or accept help reveals a hidden desire for support. Here's how you can confront and integrate your shadow effectively. Start by identifying moments when you feel touchy, defensive, or insecure. These emotions often signal the presence of your shadow. Reflect on situations where your behavior contradicts your public persona or where you feel ashamed. This is where your shadow is hiding. Don't resist or reject these darker impulses. Accept that they are a part of who you are as a complex human being. By acknowledging your shadow, you disarm its negative influence. Remember, you cannot control what you refuse to recognize. Investigate your shadow's desires. Ask yourself, what am I truly afraid of? What am I hiding from? Let your shadow work for you, not against you. When facing criticism or challenges, stand up for yourself without guilt. This is your shadow helping you protect your interests. Sometimes the shadow needs to assert itself. Whether it's using anger to defend your boundaries or assertiveness to fight for what's right, don't shy away from the strength that comes from your shadow. Just be mindful of when and how you express it. Use it constructively, not. Let's get into it. Law 10, the law of envy. Envy is a weed that grows in the soil of comparison. Once it takes root, it can consume us, making us blind to our own potential and the unique path we must follow. Envy is one of the most complex emotions that can either push us to improve or consume us with bitterness. It's the feeling of discontent we experience when someone else has something we desire, whether it's possessions, success, or qualities we admire. At its core, envy reflects our own insecurities, unfulfilled desires, and perceived deficiencies. Here are the 2 types of envy to recognize. Passive envy. It works quietly and subtly, often affecting things in sneaky ways. Active envy. This type of envy is easy to spot. It's the person who's openly hostile and aggressive, trying to tear you down. Robert Greene explains that certain situations are more likely to trigger active envy, even in people who may not be naturally envious. For example, when someone achieves something quickly, it can make others feel inadequate, especially if they've been working hard for less reward. Being in the spotlight or receiving compliments can provoke envy in those who feel underappreciated. Colleagues, friends, or family members who are frequently around you and aware of your strengths and weaknesses are more likely to develop envy. The closer someone is to you, the more your success might feel like a direct comparison or challenge to their own standing. Situations where resources such as attention or affection are limited can amplify feelings of competition and envy. Robert Greene provides ways to spot envy. Though it's tricky to detect, it often reveals itself through subtle clues that are easily overlooked. First, you can detect it through microexpressions. Microexpressions are brief, involuntary facial expressions that reveal a person's true feelings, often contrary to what they are trying to project outwardly. These fleeting expressions can betray emotions such as envy or hostility, even when someone is attempting to conceal them. Green emphasizes paying close attention to these subtle signs, particularly around the eyes, as they often give envy away. These quick looks reveal their true feelings. Second, beware of poisonous praise. When someone gives you a compliment laced with sarcasm, they may be masking their envy. They offer praise but subtly undermine you, making you doubt yourself. Third, watch for backhanded gossip. Gossip often serves as a cover for envy. When someone spreads rumors or negative stories about you, it's likely they feel threatened by your success and want to bring you down. Here are several key strategies he outlines for cultivating true self-worth. First, focus on mastery and growth. Green advises people to prioritize personal development and mastery over external success. When you commit to improve your skills and yourself, your self-worth becomes anchored in your abilities rather than how others perceive you. Second, avoid comparing yourself to others. Green encourages shifting focus away from others' achievements and instead measuring success by your own progress and efforts. Third, embrace your unique qualities. Green believes that recognizing and owning your individuality is crucial. Rather than conforming to societal standards, building self-worth involves embracing your distinct traits and contributions. Fourth, develop emotional awareness. Green suggests that by becoming emotionally self-aware, you can strengthen your internal sense of confidence and avoid seeking validation from others. Fifth, build resilience. Facing challenges and setbacks is inevitable. Green stresses that true self-worth comes from resilience, the ability to learn from failures and bounce back stronger. By applying these strategies, you can cultivate a stronger sense of self-worth and, as a result, dramatically reduce your tendency to feel envious of others. Law 11. The law of grandiosity. The moment we give ourselves over to grandiosity, we lose touch with reality and begin to spiral out of control. If you've watched The Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio, then you're already familiar with the character we'll be discussing, Howard Hughes, a brilliant aviator, businessman, and filmmaker. Early in his career, Hughes achieved incredible success, becoming one of the most famous and powerful men in the world. But as his empire grew, so did his sense of invincibility. Over time, his grandiosity led him to take reckless risks, make poor decisions, and eventually isolate himself. His story illustrates how unchecked pride can distort reality, leading to one's downfall. Grandiosity is a natural part of human psychology. A small taste of success can quickly inflate our egos, leading us to believe we are superior to others. When we start exaggerating our achievements, ignoring the role of luck or the contributions of others, we step into the dangerous territory of grandiosity. It can lead to self-destructive behavior. This is why Robert Greene emphasizes the need to identify signs of elevated grandiosity both in yourself and in others. Grandiosity evolves depending on whether you're an ordinary individual or in a position of leadership. In leaders, these traits often become more pronounced. Over time, they shape reality to fit their personal narrative, convincing others through the following common illusions. Greatness is my destiny. For them, their life is a tale of inevitable greatness, as if they were always destined for success. I'm one of you. They project an image of being relatable, positioning themselves as champions of the common person, despite their actual detachment from reality. I will be your savior. In times of crisis, they emerge with promises to rescue people from their difficulties, using emotional, vague rhetoric to rally followers. I can break the rules. They inspire with bold proclamations that they can defy conventions and win through sheer intuition. Everything I touch turns to gold. They rewrite their pasts, erasing failures and assigning blame elsewhere to maintain an image of perfection. I'm invincible. They take risks, not out of strategy, but out of a desire for attention, often leading to their downfall. While grandiose leaders often let their inflated sense of self lead to arrogance and detachment from reality, Robert Greene reminds us that everyone experiences grandiose desires to some extent. Instead of letting these impulses drive us toward recklessness, he suggests harnessing them in a constructive way. This is what he calls practical grandiosity, where we channel our natural ambition and desire for greatness into productive, realistic goals. Here's how Greene suggests you can adopt practical grandiosity. First, the idea is to be honest with yourself about your ambitions and desires for recognition. Rather than suppressing your desire to feel important, recognize it as a natural part of human nature. By confronting it, you can control and direct it toward positive outcomes. Second, Greene advises focusing your grandiose energy on one clear, attainable goal at a time. Instead of chasing multiple dreams or jumping from project to project, pick something that excites you but is also within reach, then break it down into manageable steps. Third, Greene warns against letting your grandiose ideas disconnect you from reality. Regularly seek feedback, accept criticism, and adapt your vision based on what works in the real world. Keep your ambitions aligned with your actual skills and resources, and let reality shape your plans. Law 12. The law of gender rigidity. Don't be afraid to explore both your masculine and feminine qualities. Embracing these aspects can lead to a richer, more fulfilling life. Elizabeth I firmly resisted pressure to marry, famously declaring she was married to England. This assertive stance, a traditionally masculine trait, allowed her to maintain full control over her reign without being overshadowed by a husband. By refusing to let political marriage define her rule, she exemplified how women can adopt masculine traits like assertiveness to assert their independence and authority in a male-dominated world, using her strength and decision-making to shape her own destiny. She uses Carl Jung's concept of gender projections to show ways people project their unmet desires or unresolved issues onto others. He presents 6 common types of gender projections, which are the devilish romantic. This projection occurs when someone idealizes a partner who seems capable of providing everything they desire. For example, a woman might be drawn to an older, successful man who she believes will fulfill her emotional needs, only to find that he doesn't meet her expectations in reality. The elusive woman of perfection. This type involves a person who projects an idealized image onto a potential partner, imagining them as perfect based on limited interaction. For instance, a man might idolize a woman he barely knows, only to be disappointed when her real personality doesn't match his fantasy. The lovable rebel. This projection happens when someone is attracted to partners who challenge authority. For example, a woman might be drawn to a man who defies conventional expectations, hoping he will represent the freedom she lacked growing up. The fallen woman. Here, a person is attracted to partners who represent the opposite of their own past experiences, often as a form of rebellion. For instance, a man who grew up with a strong, controlling mother might seek out a woman who is unconventional, hoping to save her as a way to rebel against his upbringing. The superior man. This projection is seen when someone desires a partner who appears confident and powerful, often due to their own feelings of inadequacy. For example, a woman might be attracted to a successful, dominant man, hoping to gain validation through him due to her own insecurities. The woman to worship him. This type involves a person who seeks a partner who will provide adoration and support, reflecting their own need for validation. For example, a man might pursue a woman who seems to worship him, mirroring the excessive praise he received from his mother. These projections often lead to dissatisfaction because they stem from a search for external validation or qualities that need to be nurtured internally. 13. The law of aimlessness. A person without a clear sense of purpose is like a ship without a rudder. It drifts aimlessly, often running aground on the reefs of circumstance and chance. Unlike animals that are driven by instinct, humans must actively choose their direction in life. Without a clear sense of purpose, we are prone to aimless wandering, which can lead us to dead ends. But with a strong sense of purpose, we find clarity, resilience, and protection against doubt and depression. Many are seduced by false purposes, which are quick fixes that promise meaning but lead to emptiness. Here are some of the most common distractions people fall for. Pursuit of pleasure. Seeking instant gratification through distractions like excessive entertainment often masks deeper dissatisfaction. Instead, cultivate a sense of purpose that transcends fleeting pleasures. Causes and cults. People may be attracted to groups or causes that promise a sense of belonging or significance. Be cautious of organizations with vague goals that may just serve as an emotional outlet rather than a genuine path to purpose. Money and success. While financial success can be a byproduct of purpose, chasing it as an end goal can lead to emptiness. Focus on meaningful work, and financial rewards will often follow. These experiences often hint at your true calling. For example, if you felt invigorated while helping others, consider roles that allow you to continue this work. Second, transform criticism into motivation. Pursuing your purpose will attract criticism, some of which may be fueled by envy. Use this as a driving force to further refine and commit to your goals, rather than letting it deter you. Third, associate with purposeful people. Surround yourself with individuals who have a clear sense of direction. Their energy and focus can be contagious, helping you stay aligned with your own purpose. Fourth, set a ladder of goals. Break down long-term objectives into smaller, manageable steps. This approach reduces anxiety and makes progress more achievable. Start with immediate, actionable goals that lead you toward your larger vision. Law 14. The law of conformity. The most dangerous place for an individual to be is in a crowd. Robert Greene presents 4 social personalities in action for us to recognize. The desire to fit in. We often change our appearance, ideas, or behavior to match the group and avoid standing out. The need to perform. Groups make us act like we're on stage, tailoring our words and actions to gain approval from others. Emotional contagion. Emotions spread like wildfire in groups. You might find yourself acting impulsively, influenced by the crowd's energy. Group culture. Every group has its own unspoken rules and culture, shaping how its members behave. Unwritten rules. There are hidden codes of conduct in every group that guide behavior, even if they're not openly stated. The group enemy. Many groups bond by identifying an enemy or villain, giving the group something to fight against. Create a clear sense of purpose. Define a strong, collective purpose that everyone can rally behind. Assemble the right team. Surround yourself with people who balance your weaknesses and can help execute your vision. Encourage open communication. A healthy group thrives on the free flow of ideas. Keep discussions transparent to build trust. Infect the group with productive emotions. As a leader, your determination and positivity will set the tone. When things get tough, your perseverance will push the group forward. Law 15. The law of fickleness. People are fickle by nature. One moment they cheer you on, the next they tear you down. Fickleness can undermine a leader's authority and cause instability. This is why Robert Greene explains how leaders handle fickleness to maintain power and influence. Here are the 8 strategies leaders use to respond to fickleness. If you want to secure lasting loyalty, you need to provide deep emotional connections, establish values that resonate with their deeper desires and fears, and they'll be less likely to abandon you when things get tough. Focus on cultivating a consistent long-term vision that outlasts the temporary highs and lows. Even when things change, those who trust your steadiness will remain loyal. In a crowd, emotions become contagious. When leading a group, be mindful of the energy in the room and the power of collective emotions. If things start to turn, redirect their energy before it becomes chaotic. People tend to get bored when they think they have you figured out. Stir things up by occasionally being unpredictable. Show different sides of your personality or take unexpected actions to keep people intrigued. Fickleness makes people quick to judge. As a leader, don't allow these fluctuations to distract you. Focus on the bigger picture and keep working towards long-term goals, knowing that those who remain loyal are the ones worth keeping. Create symbols or traditions that represent continuity and stability. These visual or cultural markers can provide a sense of security and loyalty among followers, reminding them of your long-term reliability. Knowing when to act is as important as knowing what to do. Be patient and strategic, ensuring your actions appear well-timed and deliberate. This calculated approach reassures people that you are in control, even in times of uncertainty. When things become unpredictable or chaotic, people look to their leaders for composure. By staying calm and collected in moments of crisis, you project confidence and authority, which helps stabilize others and keeps them loyal through turbulent times. Leadership styles may evolve over time, but one thing remains constant. People are always skeptical of those in power. Just watch the news, and you'll see how easily leaders rise and fall Understand your own values, strengths, and weaknesses. This self-knowledge forms the foundation of your authority, allowing you to lead authentically. Authentic leaders attract followers because they resonate with their true selves rather than trying to mimic others. Find the one that resonates with you and build your authority from there. Think about different archetypes of leadership: the protector, like a firefighter or a hero who shields people from harm; the innovator, the visionary. Leadership is not a privilege, it's a responsibility. Instead of focusing on your own needs, pay attention to how you can help others. Foster connections with others by understanding their perspectives and emotions. Be a good listener, and people will follow because they know you care. As a leader, don't get caught up in everyday drama or overreact to small problems. Cultivate a clear vision of your goals and values. Demonstrate your commitment by working as hard, if not harder, than those you lead. When you set the right tone, others will naturally rise to meet it. Being too predictable can weaken your authority. Occasionally mix things up. Display qualities people wouldn't expect from you. This keeps them intrigued and stops them from putting you into a box. If people feel you're taking something away, whether it's their time, money, or rights, they'll start to doubt your leadership. Always be seen as giving back to the group, never taking away. Every generation is different, and what worked before might not work now. To maintain authority, stay adaptable. Change your style to fit the new mood or culture. Keep evolving, and you'll stay relevant. Law 16, the law of aggression. The human heart is a battlefield, constantly torn between love and aggression. Aggression often stems from feelings of insecurity or helplessness. For some, these feelings are fleeting, but for chronic aggressors, they're a constant. These individuals often attempt to control others as a way of masking their own vulnerabilities, most likely rooted in early childhood experiences. Turned inward, this form of aggression manifests as internalizing frustrations, often resulting in depression, self-doubt, and negative self-talk. Instead of expressing anger outward, individuals direct it at themselves, which can be equally damaging. Direct it at others. When we're unable to assert ourselves directly, we find sneaky ways to express anger. This is a passive-aggressive behavior that can harm relationships. Directed at work. The idea is to control and turn that aggression into ambition and productivity. Think of an athlete or entrepreneur pushing through challenges. The key is not to repress your aggressive tendencies, but to channel them toward productive outcomes. Instead of reacting emotionally or becoming passive-aggressive, direct this energy into solving problems and achieving your goals. By mastering your aggression, you can turn a potentially destructive force into one that drives you towards success. To do so, Robert Greene encourages to be conscious of your own aggressive tendencies and channel them into positive, assertive actions. Here's how. Self-awareness. Recognize that everyone has aggressive impulses, whether subtle or overt. Instead of denying or repressing them, you should acknowledge their presence. Greene emphasizes that understanding these tendencies helps you manage and redirect them in productive ways. Controlled aggression. Greene advocates for channeling aggression towards achieving meaningful goals. By directing your assertive energy into your work, projects, or ambitions, you turn raw aggression into a force that propels you forward in life. It's about transforming frustration into motivation and drive. Confidence and assertiveness. Greene highlights the importance of assertiveness in interactions. Rather than being passive or aggressive, assertiveness allows you to stand your ground and express your needs without hostility. This approach leads to better relationships and more respect from others. Law 17, the law of generational myopia. You might think you're steering your life, but the truth is, the times you were born into have more control over you than you realize. How much of your thinking is really yours? Every generation has its own spirit, shaped by its cultural symbols, the major events it lived through, and the beliefs it carried. Someone born in the 1990s grew up in a world defined by the rise of the internet and globalization, while someone born in the 1950s was shaped by the post-war economic boom and Cold War tensions. These experiences formed different worldviews, whether we're aware of it or not. Robert Greene emphasizes that to effectively exploit the spirit of your time, you should adopt several strategies. Recognize how your generation influences your perceptions and behaviors. so you can break free from those constraints. Start by questioning the core beliefs you take for granted, asking yourself, what are the core beliefs of my generation? Are these truly my values? And where do they fit in the historical cycle? Challenge the assumptions of your time. This self-awareness will help you navigate and overcome generational biases. Question traditional values and beliefs, including those of your parents and predecessors. This encourages innovation and personal growth. Don't let age limit your curiosity. Don't fall into the trap of thinking, I've seen it all. Whether you're 20 or 50, push yourself to explore new technology, new movements, new ideas. For example, try reading books or consuming media from another generation's perspective. The goal is to keep growing, not stagnate. Interacting with younger individuals can provide fresh perspectives and insights, helping bridge generational gaps. Study how history repeats itself. Dive into the works of philosophers, historians, and artists from previous generations to expand your understanding of different mindsets and values. The more you understand the cycles of history, the more you can anticipate how your own generation's story might unfold. For example, learn how revolutions like the French Revolution emerged from periods of inequality. Be flexible and responsive to the evolving social landscape. Recognizing shifts in cultural trends allows you to position yourself advantageously. Every generation has a dominant feeling, whether it's the cynicism of Gen X, the ambition of millennials, or the activism of Gen Z. To truly succeed, tap into this energy. By recognizing this shared experience, we connect to something larger than ourselves. Robert Greene reminds us that this awareness isn't a weight, it's freedom. Knowing we will die gives life urgency, pushing us to make the most of every moment. Another important element Greene emphasizes is the need to contemplate the sublime, the vastness of time and space. When we take time to reflect on the infinity of the universe, our individual struggles and ambitions suddenly seem small. Our ego shrinks. In the face of this grand scale, Greene explains, our daily worries and anxieties begin to feel trivial. This broader perspective allows us to detach from the unimportant and focus on what truly matters.